Okay, I better turn that down before I run and foul of YouTube copyright rules. Hello everyone, it's Sunday night. What a cool, crisp weekend it's been. Fall is not only knocking on our doors, but I think it's here. This weekend, very interesting weekend, which I call Chuck Fest. Chuck Prophet, if you ever heard of him, if you haven't, shame on you. So I'm going to educate you. Chuck Prophet is an American songwriter, artist, singer, producer, among other things, who has been on producing these albums and tours constantly and involved with other projects. Go to Wikipedia and read all about it. Because I only have 5 freaking minutes for this video. Anyway, Chuck Prophet played a very interesting solo acoustic setting at the North Shore concert series. Let me make sure I got the name right. The North Shore Point House Concert Series. This Friday night, a very intimate setting. It was actually, these concerts take place at a home of a guy named Jim. He hosts them, and he has a big, like a revival tent set up in his backyard with chairs, and looks like it could hold about 100 people. And it's very much a word of mouth. Of course, there's a website too, and Jim hosts a lot of the singer-songwriter Americana, type of music, and people who are not in the mainstream radar, but artists who are have gotten a good following and good word of mouth. And that's the best music now. You're not going to find it on American Top 40 Billboard anymore. Those days are gone. So anyway, so Chuck played an acoustic set, and I got a review I wrote up here, and I'm going to read it to you and do little comments in between. Where is it? I had it. Thank you for bearing with me. There it is. Okay, instead of rambling on the reviews like I normally do, I actually sat down, put my thoughts together on the computer. So Chuck performed an acoustic show last night at the North Shore Point House series. It was in a very intimate setting, and Chuck engaged the audience with his great songs done with warmth and humor. And not only is he a great artist, he is a performer that can hold an audience. And at the introduction of practically every song, Chuck told a funny story about the song, how it was recorded, how it was written, and his ideas of the songs, what sparked the idea for the songs. And he was very funny. I mean, if he wasn't a musician artist, he could have a good job as a comedian. But anyway, beginning of the show, Chuck came out. He was this guy's from California, so he has this really nice, chill out kind of personality. And he said to the audience, "How y'all doing? We're going to get this relationship started off right, and we're all going to have a good time." Meaning, not only the audience, him, we are all going to have a good time. So it felt very inclusive. What was so great about the North Shore series is you get a chance to, at least in this case, this is my first show there, to intermingle with the artist himself, herself, whoever performing. And while we got there early and we were waiting, just waiting in our seats, and we had to use the restroom, my friend and we went inside the house to do it, and we heard his voice on the phone in the adjoining room, and it sounded like Chuck Crawford. And my friend said, find out if it's him. And so I just stepped in the thrust hole of the adjoining room, and I saw a guy on the couch. He had black hair, where I see pictures of Chuck with blonde, and I just caught a side view. I didn't want to go all the way in the room because, I'm in someone's home that I don't know, and I don't want to be rude and nosy. So I just kind of glanced in there, caught a side view. And then my friend came out and said, oh, that is Chuck, that is Chuck. So after that, Chuck actually finished his phone conversation, came in the hallway and talked to us for a few moments. And my friend asked Chuck if he remembered opening for Lucinda Williams in Hampton when he played here. 2000, him and Lucinda played here in 2003. And so they had a bit of a chat, and Chuck went upstairs, and we went back to the tent. And this venue, the way you get your seat is, first of all, the admissions, they don't call it admission, they call it donations, which is cool. And you don't pay for a reserved seating. All the prices are the same, and they got these folding chairs with two stickers, and each of the sticker has the same number. My number was 60. So 60 was stuck on the chair, and then another 60 sticker was where you can pull it off because it wasn't stuck on all the way, and you take that one and put it on your shirt, and that's your seat, which is pretty cool. Anyway, let me go on with the review. Yeah, hey, this relationship audience and myself is going to start off great. We're going to have a good time. Chuck music and lyrical content examines all aspects of life viewed through his perspective. Humorous stories at the beginning of every performance, which was just an added bonus to the performance itself. So the mood was very relaxed, and people had a good time listening to his great music and listen to his stories and laugh, and really chilled out. Chuck was very gracious and made himself available for photos, signing of his CDs and albums during the intermission. And I actually brought one of his new album. It's not new, it's been out since 2014. It's called Surfrider. And the track we listened to at the opening, it's called, I'm going to put my reading glasses on again, Lonely Desolation. And I like that track because it opens with the guitar, and then looks like sounds like the plucking of a cello or some kind of similar string instrument. And I'm going to read all the credits and what instruments were used for each track, because it comes with a poster with front artwork, and on the back the lyrics and all the credits. So Chuck was gracious enough to sign my album to Rip, Chuck Crawford, 2015. By the way, Rip is my nickname that my friends used to call me. And you could see the Rip, the R is slightly smudged. And that happened when I got the album from Chuck. And the smudging, I think, was pretty cool, because it kind of document the action of me receiving an album from Chuck, and so that's cool. I always remember that. And he put 2015, the year, Chuck Crawford, P. So I got the album from him, and what was so interesting when as I was walking away, he said to me, "Hey Rip, thank you for buying the album," which was very cool, very thoughtful of him doing that. So that was a nice intermission, and I didn't want to hog up too much of his time, so I kind of went away. Other people were there, wanted to talk to him. So anyway, the review. What's so cool about this venue is when you go see a big performer, when they exit the stage for intermission or to leave, they're accompanied by their staff and security. This venue, none of that. Chuck just came right with the crowd, did his autographing and picture taking and mingled, and probably not practical with in a larger venue, with like 5,000 or so, but or even a couple of thousand, but this you could do it. I'm not going to down the list of songs he played because while I've been a fan of Chuck for years, I'm still getting familiar with all of his music because he has quite a catalog out there. But I will recommend a few albums if you're new to his music and want to get started with it. Let me finish up the review here. Jim, who hosts this concert series by opening up his home and backyard and establishing the North Shore Point concert series, he has provided an alternative experience at a very reasonable admission price that allows for such engagement between audience and artists. The North Shore Concert Series enhances the cultural offerings of the community. Some of the best concerts are under a tent and the best seats also. So that's my little write-up of the show itself. If you're a newcomer to Chuck Crawford, and excuse me if I say Crawford a few times because I work with a Chuck Crawford at work, but Chuck Crawford. A few of his albums I would recommend to newbies is No Greater Love. Let me see if I have that title right. No Other Love. No Other Love. Soap, which came out in 2003. That was when we saw him with Lucinda, and I actually brought that album at the concert, and he had a hit, a song that was getting played on radio, Summertime Thing, and the title track is very good. And then 2007, Soap and Water, and the latest one, Night Surfer. So I would recommend those three and just go on from there. I think it's very important that we support artists who are what we call independent or kind of not in the mainstream music these days. The Taylor Swifts or whatever out there. But to go down those back roads, do your own research, search YouTube, Spotify, and find artists and that you find interesting and support them. And Chuck Crawford is really a great artist to support. Buy a few of his CDs, a few of his albums. And so that's great. I wanted to do this review earlier, get it posted earlier, but um, Saturday morning, I spent the morning listening to Chuck's new album, Night Surfer. Um, I listened to the front and back 3 times. Then I had to do a house project that took all day into the night. I mean, I literally worked until I could not anymore, or worked till I dropped. So I brought the computer down, got hooked up the speakers, put Spotify on, and I listened to for about 6 hours of Chuck Crawford, his entire catalog, which was really cool. And another artist who I really like, let me find them. Again, I appreciate your patience. This won't be long. Da, 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 da. And this person, I posted a number of his videos. His name is Corb Lund, Corb, first name, last name Lund, and he's like an alternative country artist. He's young, but he's been around for a little while. His work is magnificent, so I posted some of his work. So I hope you check them out. He's, when I say country, he's actually from Canada, and he's from the cattle ranching country. So in his music, there's a lot of themes of cattle ranching and that whole culture. So that's interesting. So that's my review of the Chuck Crawford show, and I recommend you listen to his music because he is so cool. He writes wonderful songs. He's got a great voice. Oh, the sound at this venue was absolutely fantastic. It was even better than the mainstream shows you go to, and they had really good PA system, and Chuck's voice is just, yeah, I knew he had a good voice, but actually hearing him live was fantastic. And he played an acoustic guitar, Martin. It looked old. The varnish on it had pretty well worn. It had marks on it and some tape. And Chuck worked out 2 microphones. One microphone which projected his voice normal, and the other one provided echo, and it was shaped as like an old-timey microphone. So Chuck is known to work with the old equipment, so that's cool. So that's my review. That's it. I welcome your thumbs up, but comments I absolutely love because that's like getting a letter. So that will do it for me. I welcome your comments. You be safe. Hallelujah. Bye.